it
All
up.
right.
That way we won't start for like a minute and let people come in. That way, like,
All right.
someone
Yeah,
tweets out
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Out of
Yeah.
either team.
I'm
I
about
think
to add a picture to the tweet, and then I'm gonna tag us and OCG.
Good idea.
All right.
Channels on Tom's ground. Channels.
All right. Should I just go ahead and tweet it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
I'm just like throwing myself in there. That way, I can monitor everything, and I'll still have monitor here. Oh, Twitter went off. Hi, Twitter. I should probably mute that. What email did it go to? Hey, yay, Oni. Thank you, Oni. You did your job. Hi, Oni. Thank you. It's only one book, but like still proud of you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
We are good. Dude, we are live.
Yeah.
Things are going good. Okay, let me see if we we'll get started once. Get a couple things going there.
All right.
And, Twitter. Hi, Twitter. Load. Thank you. Wrong Twitter. I mean, I could tweet it from this Twitter too. Why not? I don't want moments. Darn you.
I don't like that they put like moments in your like notifications because it's like, when did I ask? When did I ask for that? I didn't.
I never asked for this. You're forcing your moments on me. I'm not okay with this.
It's just like social media now in general. It's just a bunch of shit you didn't ask for, and
not all of it. Like Instagram's okay, and like most of the time Twitter's okay. It's just sometimes to be acting stupid, and you're like,
yeah. I don't like. I'm just not a fan of like the state of things where algorithm. But I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes it's helpful, but I wish there was a choice. Because some days I just want to see what like the latest tweets are or latest posts or whatever, and some days I just want like what's the biggest thing going on right now. But it's just that lack of choice that I don't like. But yeah.
Drop this into here. I cannot spell today. Like literally, my spelling like powers are just gone.
Oh, yeah. That's relatable.
Like, I don't understand why like spelling is so hard for the human mind.
With me, it's with like an actual keyboard because like I never learned to like actually type with like all of my fingers. I just use my index fingers. Like I don't do the thing they teach you in middle school where
tap like
yeah. Yeah, because like they try to teach me that in 8th grade, and it's like I don't know why my ligaments in my fingers won't allow me to use all of them on a keyboard, but they won't. So
see, I'm weird. Like I always resisted the home row because I had been using computers ever since I was like in 3rd grade. But then I went to a middle school. They were like, "Hey, you should use the home row to type on the keyboard." I'm like, I can out type half the class in a speed test, and I don't use the home row. Sorry, not gonna do it. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna use this stupid thing. Like, yes, it's efficient, but I don't like using it.
Yeah, it's like I had to take keyboarding 2 times. Well, the first time I passed, like barely, but I passed. But they're like, high school will like it better if you retake the fucking course and like do better. So they duped me into taking it again during the summer, and I failed that course because I was an 8th grader trying to do summer work. What did they think was gonna happen?
That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
All right.
And there was like, yeah.
You ready? We got like we got like what, one person, but that's fine. We can always archive it, leave it up. That'll work.
All right, cool.
Gonna hit that theme song. We gonna get cracking.
All right.
I'm gonna mute you that way I can roll, and we'll get started. Wait, no, come back. There we go. Wrong button. All right, go for it.
Hello to all of you amazing web slingers. Welcome to our podcast all about our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. My name is Alec. I am your host. You can follow me at the Alec Thorn on Twitter. I am joined today by James. Say hi, James.
Hi.
You can follow him on Twitter. He is at James C. Portis 3, I believe.
Yes.
You can follow our podcast Twitter page, which is at LOTE_podcast. Of course, follow the On Comics Ground Twitter, which is at On Comics Ground. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is On Comics Ground as well. And of course, follow us here on Twitch. So hello, everybody. So James, how are you today?
I am great. How are you doing?
I am good. I just got back from a day in Columbia, South Carolina. I just found out I got accepted to the school I'm transferring to. So, yes. Yay, that's good. I called them for 2 weeks and they wouldn't tell me for some reason. So like it took me marching my ass down 2 hours away to like ask them what the deal is, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, you're in." So
it's like you drive all the way there, and then it's like, "Oh yeah, hey, we meant to call you, but like things happen." So like, yeah, you exist.
Yeah. They're like, "Shit, he came all this way. Shit, we gotta tell him." But yeah, no, like I asked why they wouldn't tell me, and he's like, "Yeah, some people in this department are just like not good with dealing with people." It's like, then why the fuck did you hire them?
Yeah, why are you working in that kind of department if you can't work with people? That doesn't make
like,
sense.
Especially college kids. College kids are like the neediest people, like in America. Well, probably. I can't generalize for everywhere else because I don't want to sound tone deaf.
Oh, no, you're
but
fine.
yeah, like you got to be able to deal with people. So yeah, that was fun. My sister had an art show for her photography. She featured me on there twice, so I felt very honored. They gave me a good ego stroke, so you know, I feel very validated now. Yeah. So we got an exciting episode today, but before we get to our main coup de grace topic, we're just gonna talk real quick about some recent news and comics in the world of our favorite Spidey boy. So, first thing I want to talk about, James, you probably saw this. I think you did at least. Mysterio's full suit revealed in promo art.
We had the promo art, and then we had the Funko Pops leak, and
all
that fun stuff that was coming out.
Yeah, some people were talking like spoilers for the Funko Pops, and I'm like, this stuff was in the trailer.
Yeah, like they have to promote those.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I guess the names, because like the names of the two secondary villains, because they were using the name Elementals. So people were like, oh, is it these people or is it Hydra Man, Molten Man, Sandman, etc. So I guess the Funkos are a spoiler as to who these are, but yeah, I'll digress. I'll let y'all figure that out for yourself. But Mysterio, he looks fucking great.
Oh yes.
Like the fish, like that's one of the best like redesigns of a character for a film I've seen, I think, like from comics to film. Like some people don't like the gold chest piece, but I think it adds like a whole new unique element to it.
It's not necessarily a redesign, because the fact that like if you look at previous costumes, he's had gold in his costume, like especially with the gauntlets and stuff, and then you had the like the stuff for what was it? the Spider-Man 2 PS4 game, like not PS4, the PS2 game where he had like darker gold woven into his costume. So like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
there's been other times that Mysterio has had gold within his costume, but I do agree with you that they did very well at incorporating it into the suit.
Yeah, like I think the main concern among everyone was like, oh, like since it's Jake Gyllenhaal, are they gonna not have the fishbowl or just save the fishbowl for like one scene? Or just like do subtle teases to it or whatever. But no, like they're going all out. I mean, of course he's going to show his face because that's how the MCU is.
Uh-huh.
You gotta give all the actors face time. But I think they've gotten better with FaceTime and mask time as the years have gone on, as they've become more confident in their brand. I mean, of course, that doesn't stop them from having masks off on all the posters because they need to show Robert Downey Jr.'s beautiful face. But happy birthday to him, by the way. Happy late birthday to him.
Yeah,
he just turned 53 yesterday, I think. Yeah. So happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to the granddaddy of the MCU. But anyway, Mysterio he looks great. I love the cloud effect. Like people haven't really talked about this, but like there's this really cool cloud effect in the fishbowl that makes it look like so much more like ominous and menacing, and I love that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him as like the marketing kicks up for I think the next trailer is supposed to come out after Endgame, which is
that makes sense.
Understandable. That's understandable. So yeah, he looks great, and I'm Far From Home. I'm looking forward to that. So for
what the heck, Alexa? Why are you randomly just talking on the my Kindle's on my bed and it randomly like Alexa randomly just keep going. I'll give you a second.
It's becoming sentient. So yeah, Mysterio looks great. So next, Life Story, which is a very life story, Spider-Man life story written by Ian and drawn by Mark Bagley. That started about 2 weeks ago at this point, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And like that was very anticipated by a lot of people, and it's looking to be like one of the best Spider-Man stories in, I mean, I don't want to say in ever, but like in recent memory, it's looking to be one of the best Spider-Man stories. And issue 1 was great, dealt with the Vietnam War very well, I think, and covering things like Green Goblin and Captain America. It's doing a really interesting development because I thought it was just going to be about Spider-Man, but apparently it's going to focus a bit on Captain America moving forward too. So we'll see how that all turns out. James, you're not reading that, right?
Not currently, no, but I am looking at the preview right now. It looks like a pretty good book.
Oh yeah, it is. It's very like Mark Bagley can do. Chip Zdarsky and Mark Bagley are like a dream team. They can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Oh, Mark Bagley in general has been a crazy beastly artist when it comes to Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, years. My favorite like art from him has to be in like his first run with Ultimate Spider-Man. Like that art style is like so iconic to me.
It's so reminiscent looking at this artwork. It feels like we're reading Ultimate Spider-Man. So like, if you swap Bendis with Zdarsky here, it's like you're back to where we started. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. Like the way the shadows are and the coloring, and I'm pretty sure that was other people involved too. I need to look at. I feel bad for not giving full credit to the inkers and colorists, but I don't know if I have.
It's not listed on the preview. It just says the variant cover artist. But give me like 2 seconds and I'll find out.
Okay, but yeah, Mark Bagley, you did good. You always do good. Yeah, that's for.
It just says art by Bagley, so like on Comixology. So I can't even we can't even credit whoever did it. Like maybe Bagley's just the beast that does everything himself, but like on the thing,
I'm pretty sure there was other people, but like I'm positive there were. And I feel bad for saying other people, like, but it's fine. To those who everyone who worked on issue 1 of Life Story, you did a fantastic job, and I look forward to seeing the future issues coming soon. So. With that being said, now this one I want to talk about for a second. Hunted, which is part of which is part of Nick Spencer's current run of Amazing Spider-Man. Um, Nick Spencer,
Oh, I
as
got
I've
it.
said.
I got it.
Oh, you got it.
Inker is John Dell, and color artist was Frank Darmada.
All right, cool. Well, I forgot. God, I just forgot those names after you said it.
John Dell and Frank Darmada. Thank you for your amazing work on this book. Like not everyone gives credit to inkers and colorists in this industry, but they do a ton of work, and it is
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah, absolutely. Like in every review I write, I try to give credit to like the penciler, the inker, the colorist, the letterer, the variant cover artist. Like I try to give credit to like that main team. Um, but yeah, like you guys did a fantastic job, and that book was really good. So, Hunted, which has been done, which is like the event that Nick Spencer and Humberto Ramos have teamed up to do. It's gotten off to a pretty solid start. Like at first, I thought like, this is just going to be Craven's Last Hunt 2.0 because pretty much Craven's main point is that he wants to die again. He wants
Why?
Spider-Man to kill because like he's like there's nothing left for me to do. I am too old. I wished for a million clone sons, and one of them killed them all, and now he's my only son. So
What?
I feel like yeah, like
When
I
did
feel
this happen?
this happened in the span of one like setup issue.
What?
Like yeah, and here's the thing about this. Like here's the thing. I'm gonna rant about this real quick.
Okay.
So like Hunted like has like tried to do commentary on big game hunters, on like the rich white people who go out to Africa and kill and slaughter endangered animals.
Yeah.
And at first it was like, oh shit, Craven's like there's good commentary going on. Then Craven recruits them all to use VR to
VR.
use yes, VR. He has Arcade make this like giant dome and all these robots programmed with Craven's fighting abilities, and has these rich big game hunters control them by VR to kill all the animal themed supervillains. Um, yeah, they could have done that, or they could have just had all the sons be the ones hunting them, because that would have been actually interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like if like okay, I might be judging this too early because there's a chance that like it could come back around in the end, and the big game hunters get the short end of the stick. I'm hoping it is, but at this time I don't know But aside from that point, this is pretty much like Craven's Last Hunt 2.0. This is like Craven being like, well, shit, who the fuck brought me back to life? Now I want to die again. So
who did bring Craven back to life?
I think his family did. His family did.
Oh god.
And then like, yeah, his family did. And then I don't remember what happened after that. But anyway, so yeah, so like he puts puts Spider-Man and all these animal themed supervillains into Central Park in this cage, and has them all hunted down by big game hunters. And sorry, but yeah, he's having them like hunt them down, and it's like, and like Iguana got killed off, Gibbon got killed off, I think. But like,
what about Leapfrog?
I don't even know if Leapfrog is here. I don't even know if Leapfrog is here. Leapfrog might be.
Oh my god.
But maybe as like a passing cameo, but we'll see. But yeah, like he went as far as to put Spider-Man back in like the black suit, because I think he wants to recreate that night that he fought against Spider-Man or whatever. But like, it's actually pretty. I like it. It like, aside from the big game hunter part that's kind of fizzling out, I like it. Showing like all these supervillains basically just tricking each other into like getting killed so that they can make it. Like Spider-Man tries to save Gibbon, then Vulture's like, no, come with me. Spider-Man will arrest you. So Gibbon goes with Vulture, and Vulture gets Gibbon killed so Vulture can make it away, which he doesn't.
Oh my god.
So, but while issue 2, what's going on is that Peter and MJ are both narrating, and then there's this other narrator who, like, at the end, like, says, "Don't worry, Pete. I'll take good care of her while you're gone."
Oh, dude.
And it's the centipede looking guy. It's the new villain that Nick Spencer's created, which, like, I'm glad, because, like, this event worried me, because I'm like, this feels like a mandate from Marvel. This feels like this feels like it's getting in the way of what Spencer really wants to write about, but he is incorporating it into this. I'm just still wondering who this villain could be. Like, the 2 likeliest candidates are Ned Leeds and Jean DeWolf, in my opinion. But, like, if it's gonna be Harry Osborn or some shit, I'm gonna be like,
Harry Osborn's
disappointed.
back, even though he just died.
He's back, and he wants to take MJ from Peter again.
Oh,
whoop-de-doo.
Wasn't he married to Liz Allen?
Yeah, he's like, I mean, I think he's still alive. Like, because he was in at the end of Venom First Host.
Oh, okay.
Like, he was married to Liz at Alchemax or whatever. So, but anyway, like, if it's just Harry again, then it's gonna be dumb as hell. Or Norman, or anybody obvious.
Norman's back, even though he got brutally destroyed.
That motherfucker just won't quit. But he'll become Green Goblin. He'll become Carnage. He'll become a centipede motherfucker.
Jesus.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it fits in character, but you know, yeah. I don't want it. I don't want it. But anyway, yeah, I don't want it. But anyway, Hunted, I recommend it. It's actually surprisingly good. So yeah, I think that's all we have for recent news and comics and whatnot. So without further ado, our main topic is this has been the thing that we have been, at least I have been, trying to map out from the start of this podcast. Well, not this one, but like the start of the overall podcast in general. Wanting to talk about the Spider-Man movies. We talked about Spider-Verse in episode 1 back in January. But yeah, from here on out, we're going to be talking about all the Spider-Man movies, 1 movie per episode. So, Spider-Man 1. To give you guys a bit of a history on it, this movie was in development for like nearly 20 years, I think. Yeah. Like they were in like first Orion had the rights to the movie. They cast somebody, I forgot what his name was, but he was featured in like a magazine and on like a cover of one of the Amazing issues.
Oh dear.
Because they were like that confident that it was going to pan out, and it didn't. And I think it was going to be about him in high school fighting the Lizard, and his love interest to be Liz Allen.
Why does everybody want to have the Lizard be Peter's first villain? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know why. Like, I mean, it's a compelling story, but like, I don't know how they would have been able to do that in the 80s without. I mean, if they got like
a rubber suit.
Yeah, unless they got like the budget of The Fly or something, and like were able to make him like look really gross and sickly. But like, I don't know how that would have panned out. But after that, like James Cameron got a hold of
his
rights.
Name is
James Cameron, explorer of the sea.
Yes.
But yes. So as you all know, episode 3, we talked about his script treatment for his Spider-Man movie, and that was the most that was the most normal one, because the other one would have had Arnold Schwarzenegger play Dr. Octopus, and Dr. Octopus would have been bitten by the same spider Peter was, and they would both be arguing who was Spider-Man. I don't know, man. James. No, like there was another one where it's like at a point they wanted Spider-Man to be like a drug-addicted lab experiment gone wrong.
Oh my god!
Like a legitimate half human, half spider. they wanted to stray that far away from the comics. I'm like, that's ballsy.
This
That's
is
like,
why we shouldn't allow movie people or like those kind of people to handle like like comic books. Like I know everyone thinks that movie people know everything and comics are like not smart enough, but this is the point of the story where you just gotta let it go. Like that's why if you would let all the comic writers just write the screenplays for movies, everything would work so much better. But we don't
the only
do that.
they like as long as they're like partner with somebody that can make like the format changes work. Like, yeah, I there's like a shift in format that like it depends on whether or not. But I digress. Like, yes, I agree with what you're saying, but yeah, that would have been a travesty. That would have been an absolute travesty.
Yeah.
So like the movie was in legal limbo for years after James Cameron lost the rights. I think David Fincher at one point was gonna make it, but then he dropped out to do. I don't know what he was doing at the time, but like that would have been interesting. He said like he wanted the whole opening credits sequence to be like his origin from like him getting bitten by the spider to him losing Gwen Stacy to him meeting Mary Jane Watson, like all within like the opening credits.
What in the hell?
That would have been interesting. David Fincher, like that's a
bold move, I will say that.
Yeah, it's a bold director to take.
Especially like
that would have been
back
interesting.
then, no one knowing anything about the character, and like he hadn't even had an origin movie yet, and you're just gonna throw that out there. That's kind of a bold move to go.
Yeah. Yeah, like with how dense, well, it's not really dense, but like with how important Spider-Man's origin is, you can't just like spit it at people on the first attempt. But
like nowadays,
yes.
if they wanted to do that, sure, go for it. Like just show Tom Holland being bit and go with it. I don't care. But
some people complain about that still, but we'll get around to that like when we talk about Homecoming, because people have that'll be fun to talk about. But so like it was in legal limbo. Then Sony tapped Sam Raimi to direct the movie. It was going to come out in 2001, but they had to delay it a year back. God, water makes me burp for some reason. I have no clue why. But anyway, so it got delayed back to 2002. They filmed it, and obviously they filmed it. God, that's why do I say the most obvious shit? I'll never know. But anyway, there was this whole debacle because they had a trailer that showed in theater. Yeah, the Twin Towers trailer with the helicopter being stuck in the web between the Twin Towers, and they pulled that from the theater after 9/11 happened. Which like the fact that there's probably a cut of that movie with that scene still in there is like really like strange to me.
Yeah, it's very intriguing, especially like it wasn't the only movie back then that had to get censored because of stuff like that. Like you had things like Lilo and Stitch that had their entire chase scene changed to a spaceship instead of an airplane because of the 9/11 stuff. So it's very interesting, like when you hear stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, I don't know, but fuck.
I mean, props to them. Like them taking the initiative and changing it for the sake of the people. That was a very like wise decision to make.
Oh yeah. And then like I think this was a reshoot or something, but like in reshoots they added the scene with all the New Yorkers rallying against a Green Goblin on the bridge.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people loved, and then the American flag moment too.
You mess with all of us.
All of us. I love that. But this movie is like so. I can quote this movie like the back of my hand. Like I could probably verbatim read like the entire movie from memory. But anyway, it released in 2002, and it at the time it was like the biggest opening weekend of all time. Yeah, Spider-Man 1. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that, James?
I swear, like every time I think about this movie, like the first thing that comes to mind is that really cringy intro when he's chasing down the bus, and
Oh,
there's that intro where he's like, "That's me, Peter Parker." Like it's so old school film to have that kind of narration in a movie, and he's like
yeah,
trying to make on the bus, and then freaking like the dude who played Deathstroke in Justice League, like is there with Mary Jane Watson. It's like, oh, okay, this is a thing. This is that kind of movie. Like because I remember when I was a kid, I had like a bootlegged VHS of this movie. And like so,
yeah,
whoever had whoever made the bootleg, even went through all the effort of making like a little cardboard box for it with Spider-Man on the cover, like they put that much effort into that thing. And I used to watch that thing until the freaking film came out of it. Like that thing, that movie is so like ingrained into what Spider-Man is for me that it blows me away. Like, say what you will about Kirsten Dunst, like. Okay, yeah, she's pretty bad, but like it just like when you're so naive and you haven't seen a decent love interest for Peter Parker yet, like except for when you're a little bit older and you finally read the comics, like it isn't that bad, but like she's okay, like yeah, she's okay, like
yeah,
like the first movie she wasn't horrible. Second movie, okay, yeah, she's horrible. Third movie, yeah, she's just freaking annoying. But like the first one, it wasn't that bad. And like I always will have the argument that Tobey Maguire wasn't the best Spider-Man, but he was the pinnacle Peter Parker. Like he was the nerd. Yeah. He like even after he transformed, like he had the change, he was still somewhat nerdy and went and got his pictures and had the job and whatnot. Like he was the perfect Peter Parker. It just did not translate to being the perfect Spider-Man the same way how Batman is, where some people can't do Bruce what they can do Batman or vice versa.
yeah, I definitely get that. Like, I like the part you said about like the movie being so ingrained into like your memory and what you know of Spider-Man. This movie was like my introduction to Spider-Man, like straight up. Like, I remember my first memory of watching the movie. It was like, and I remember this scene, like I know I remember this scene differently, but it was the scene where Peter Parker shouted woohoo and started jumping along all the buildings. But like that was the first thing I remember about Spider-Man. And I just remember like my parents buying the DVD from a Harris Teeter one day, and like they just popped it in. And Harris Teeter, it's a grocery store in like the southeast area.
Okay. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I'll make references that like nobody will get because it's South Carolina. It's okay. Like there's nothing here except pain. Here. That's yeah, there's nothing here. Our capital is like half city and half like just nothing.
Half city,
just
and
like
half nothing.
Yeah, it's like that. But yeah, like this movie has had such an impact on me, like as a person. Like, you know, like for a while, like I think like through like all of time, like this has been like my favorite film. Like not the best film I've seen. I mean, that can be debated, but like it is like my favorite film to this day, probably rivaled by Spider-Verse. Like,
okay,
I think Spider-Man's like my favorite for like nostalgic purposes, and Spider-Verse is like my favorite for like understanding like quality and talent and like yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like Tobey Maguire, like he is. I think there are times where he's a very good Spider-Man, but the problem is like it's not more or less a problem, but like something that the Raimi trilogy focused more on was more of Peter and less of Spider-Man.
Yes, that was the thing they did. Yes.
Yeah, they focused on Spider-Man just being like an extension of Peter, which to be like, I may be saying this wrong, but I feel like that was like a very ballsy move for like a comic book trilogy or movie to do, because like usually if you go to see a superhero movie, you're like, yeah, the superhero, the person we want to see, not the nobody alter ego we don't care about. But the Raimi trilogy, like, made these movies about Peter Parker.
Yes.
And Spider-Man just being part of Peter Parker's conflict throughout the trilogy, which I love. But like, it does make, but like when Spider-Man is on screen, it makes me wish for more personality from him, because that is lacking. There's just a lot of scenes where he's like saving the day and not saying a word and not cracking any jokes or whatever.
There definitely is a
and
lot
like
of that.
yeah. And like there has been like some people lately saying Spider-Man's main thing isn't cracking jokes, and I'm like, yeah, true, but like it does help to show that change in personality instead of it just sounding and acting like Peter.
Yeah, and
I mean,
I will.
yeah.
I honestly will make the retort to that statement that it is a part of who he is. Like,
Yes.
he like has said on multiple occasions that making jokes helps eliminate or at least deal with the fear that he deals with going into combat or dealing with, like a giant enemy. Like, if you have to deal with like a 6'5", 7-foot dude in a scorpion suit every other day, like, you'll be pretty afraid too and cracking jokes to keep yourself sane. So I'm not mad at him for doing that. And like, when people are like, oh, Spider-Man doesn't have to tell jokes, like, he kind of does. Like, otherwise, he just seems kind of soulless.
Yeah, like, and yeah, like the jokes aren't the most important part, but they do elevate and add layers to the character, which I felt was kind of just missing from his Spider-Man. But there are times where I'm just like, he can be a badass Spider-Man at times, like the moment at the end where like Green Goblin's saying how he's gonna kill MJ, and Peter just like gives him this death glare look and just fights back against him. I love that moment.
Oh yeah, like he can definitely have serious moments, but he also like being the jokester is what was a part of him. Like, there's definitely times where Peter is a no bullshit kind of guy and will beat the living tar out of you if you threaten the people he loves.
Oh yeah, like read Back in Black. That's basically just Peter saying. That's basically just Peter saying, "Fuck the jokes. I'm going to kill the fucking Kingpin."
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, definitely. It's an aspect of the trilogy that they did put in a few jokes at times, but they focused more on, the depth and the heart, which I feel like I'm saying as a bad thing. That's like a great thing. That's a great thing they focused on. But I do wish there was more focus on. There was an equal focus on Peter and Spider-Man, because they are the same person, but they're just two sides of the same person. But I digress. Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane. Ugh. Okay.
You're just like, ugh, okay.
She was just Liz Allen in Spider-Man 1. She was just like they really just made it Mary Jane to be like more modern with I might be talking bullshit, by the way. Like, don't take my word for it. But like, it really does feel like they just made this character Mary Jane just so like people who read the comics be like, oh my god, that's Mary Jane. It's the red hair. It's Mary Jane. I'm not saying like Kirsten Dunst like was a bad choice to play Mary Jane. No, like, she is a great actress, I think, but she just wasn't. It was a different time, and they didn't give her quality material. I will argue that like the third movie was the one where they tried to like make her character more three-dimensional.
Yes.
And I think they were kind of succeeding, but then they had her kiss Harry. But then again, Peter did kiss Gwen. We'll get to Spider-Man 3 when that comes around, so I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of interesting new opinions on Spider-Man 3 nowadays, so
really?
Oh yeah, like a lot of people are saying it's an underrated film, and that like the negatives don't overshadow the positives, which is debatable, but like, again, we'll talk about that when we get to it. But back to Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, one thing Kai said in the chat is that for her, Pete should never kill. Like, he mentioned that like when he teams up with Daredevil a lot, and that's a very good point. Like, he can have his serious moments, and like be pushed to that edge, but like, yeah, Peter shouldn't kill.
Yeah,
it's like, Snyder can make that joke for Batman where Batman kills people. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, Batman kills people, but like, Spider-Man shouldn't kill people.
Yeah, like that. Like Spider-Man's no killing rule is surprisingly not talked about. Just accept that it's part of the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like people just don't expect to watch a Spider-Man movie and see Peter kill anybody. At least no humans, because I mean Peter technically assisted in the killing of Ebony Maw in Infinity War, but we will not talk about that.
That's not. That doesn't count.
It doesn't, but it's a technical killing. But you know we understand. We understand the big purple man was coming with all.
I just love the way you said that. You're just like, oh, he technically helped with the killing of Ebony Maw, but we don't talk about that. Like,
yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. But yeah, like Peter, like even when he's pushed to like his absolute breaking point, I don't think it's in him to kill. I mean, well, it depends because like in Renew Your Vows, he killed Venom. Because Venom, from what I remember, Venom like kidnapped MJ and Annie Mae, and why did Peter name his daughter Anime? I will never know. But anyway,
I mean,
yeah, that was one time.
Yeah, like Mayday Parker.
Well, debatable. But yeah, like that was one time he killed, but that wasn't in canon. But I understand why he did, because like he wasn't killing a wife and a daughter. Like he would not let anything happen to them. So yeah, like sometimes I feel like that rule can be bent a bit, but most of the time it's like if it's not necessary, he should not kill.
Oh yeah, no.
But yeah, Kirsten Dunst as MJ. There are times where I see like there are times where like she's given like moments of brilliance, and I can see like some like deeper character in her, but then she's just relegated back to the damsel in distress role that doesn't really have any development. Like we never see where things go with her and her broken family. All we know is that like she's still in contact with her parents for some reason. And
well, like I think the issue with the broken family thing like kind of deals with the issue of like Raimi's mistake to fast forward so fast out of high school, because they had the issue of, hey, we're hiring an almost 30-something to play Spider-Man. We kind of need to get him out of high school, and they rushed him out real quick, so it kind of hurt the idea of MJ being at home, where there was kind of a different dynamic there. The idea that like she had like an abusive dad or whatever and stuff like that. Like there was the occasional every once in a while she'll be back at the house and they can have the little fence scene, but like there was never a specific time where they could develop that role for MJ. Yeah,
it just like. And it's funny because like they did the same thing with Andrew Garfield. Like he was nearly 30, but they're like, "Nah, we'll just keep him in high school this time." It's like, I never got the point of, okay, I'll save this. I'll stop myself right here and save this for when we talk about Amazing Spider-Man, because I don't want to steer off topic too much.
No, you're good.
But yeah, like, while I do love this movie, it is very apparent, like. Okay, here's him in high school, here's his origin, now rush to college in the real world. But yeah, like, who else do I want to talk about? Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe, yes.
The heart, Osborn. First, we must attack his heart. Oh, I love him. I love Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. Like, that is like one of the absolute best castings.
But like he was held back by that really bad costume.
Yeah, that like okay, I love it for like, you know, guilty pleasure sakes, and that like I get that the suit itself was like, you know, military battle armor or whatever, so it has to look like who was making the mask, and it's like, oh, sorry, I was saying, I get that the suit itself was like military battle armor, which that's understandable enough. But who made the fucking mask?
Yeah, I don't know who could have made that mask. That mask was like,
Yeah.
it's like somewhere from a different dimension.
Yeah, and if you look at the concept art, they were like trying to make it like the comics in the series, where the mask was like part of his face and was moving with him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like their fear of that would have. I might be taking a stretch here. Like, I might be taking a stretch. But I feel like their fear of that would have been like comparisons to the Joker, maybe. Possibly. I mean, like
that kind of makes sense because like the fear with trying to make it too smiley is the concern.
Yeah.
And like if you let him go like too much, that would definitely like give Nicholson vibes and freak people out and think, oh, you're just copying Batman, and that would just be annoying.
Yeah. Also, because like, I guess because of limited technology. I mean, they did make a mask that was like comic accurate, but like, and like had puppeteers moving the muscles in the face and whatnot. But apparently, it just would have been too much work, so they just stuck with the Halloween Party City mask. You know, as silly as it is, I love it for like the cheese factor of it.
Yeah,
but
very much so.
Someone pointed out that the suit that Norman was wearing had like Nikes.
Did it really?
It did. It like had like.
You're lying to me.
No. Like somebody. Like hold on. Let me look this up. Let me look up.
You keep going.
Okay, but yeah, it was like these yellow Nike things that have like they're golden. I don't think there's shoelaces on them, but it's like a wave effect on them, and they were just like spray painted green. And like someone made a tweet about where it's like Green Goblin, a real New York villain for having the dunks on or whatever.
Oh god. And
they had a side-by-side image. It's like, wow, they really just took Nikes and spray painted them and put them on Green Goblin. That's the funniest thing. I mean, Peter did wear Nikes during like with his wrestling outfit, but like I'm just imagining like at Oscorp,
he really wore Nikes.
He really did. He did. I'm just imagining at Oscorp's like a staff meeting. They're like, okay, we have this battle armor suit that we need to work with this glider. What kind of shoes would work to help somebody stay close to the glider without any give? Somebody just stands up and says, "These Nikes, sir." And they're like, "Great, we'll do a sponsorship with Nike to promote this battle armor."
I'm like looking at this Reddit thread, and like the jokes are so funny. When you gotta destroy Spider-Man at 9, but you need to hoop with the boys at noon. Like, bruh.
Have you seen like the memes lately of like there was this kid with red hair who did like waves for his hair, and somebody's like, this is how Steve Ditko imagined Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out there. I was like, what?
No. Someone was like, this is how Steve Ditko imagined Harry Osborn and Norman Osborn.
Yes.
Yeah. With the ginger waves.
Damn, Spider-Man turned into an ankle-breaking villain. Bro, oh my god, I'm gonna end up reading this. But no, that's crazy. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, like I saw it like a month or so ago on Twitter, and I couldn't believe it. Like, that's so fun. But yeah, like aside from his suit being like, you know, kind of cheap, Willem Dafoe like gave an amazing, like beautifully over the top performance as Green Goblin. And like, I guess if there is to be a complaint about him is that he wasn't really Norman Osborn.
To an extent he was, like,
kind of, but like
addictive to Harry and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like the dual personality thing, like it wasn't just. I mean, okay, that was accurate to a degree. Yeah, yeah, that was accurate. But at the same time, Norman himself is like a villainous dick.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Dark Avengers, you know, like Go Down Swinging, that all shows that to a T.
Mm-hmm.
You're
not wrong.
Yes, but like by the time he's becoming Green Goblin, shut up, Tigger. Sorry, that's Tigger at my door. But anyway,
T.I. double K.
but but like, fuck, what was I saying? But okay, so like, as soon as Norman becomes Green Goblin, he's acting like innocent and not villainous. And I mean, he kind of is, but it's still clear that he's like catering to the whim of this other personality. And then, like, I get that it's accurate to an extent, but like at the same time, I'm like, just show Willem Dafoe chewing all the scenery all the time, please. Because he, the board meeting, you know how much I sacrifice.
I love that scene.
I love that one. Out am I? I didn't lie when I said I could quote this movie for days.
It's very nice to hear
that. It's thank.
Like, it shows like your commitment to your role.
Yeah. James Franco, Harry Osborn.
I have mixed feelings about this boy.
About James Franco?
Yes, because like say what you will about James Franco now. Back when he first started, when he went from Freaks and Geeks and was trying to actually be a real actor before he like started doing the weed and whatnot, he actually had the potential to be a really good Harry Osborn and could have totally just been Green Goblin in the third one instead of just being new Goblin, as like all the promotional gear said. He actually had the potential to be a great villain, but when he's always just like, Spider-Man killed my dad, I'm like, shut up. It's just shut up.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna. This is like more so for other movies, but when he finds out Peter is Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2, why does Peter never Peter implies that he's gonna go back to talk to him. Never does for some reason.
Yeah.
Either that or he did and Harry just decided to still be a dick. Because at the end, Harry's like, no, Peter's my best friend. He didn't, and he rejects Norman, but then he sees the Green Goblin shit and Harry's like, avenge me! Yeah, Harry understands at the end of Spider-Man 2, and then in Spider-Man 3, they just make him be Green Goblin, for no reason, even though, he knows the truth now.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's almost like whatever goblin serum that was left, triggered something within him to make him think negatively.
Maybe. I don't... But, then again, why was he still thinking negatively before he took the serum?
Yeah, that's true.
But, I don't know. I wish they would have given him... You remember in Spider-Man, there's a chrome one? Wish you would have taken that, because that would have looked cool.
That would have been very cool.
Instead of the paintball mask. But anyway.
Mask.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought in Spider-Man 1 he was good, but he just kind of played one role of being the best friend who stole the girl from Peter.
Yeah.
He was kind of a dick, which is fairly accurate. He kind of just steals MJ right from under Peter and doesn't feel remorseless about it. Steals all of Peter's knowledge to impress her, and she's not impressed at all. But it's funny.
There, you're cutting out again.
Why are you going out with him? Why are you going out with him? I don't know. But yeah, he did good for what was asked of him.
Oh, most definitely. He was very sufficient in his role. I'm never gonna argue that about him. It's just the cringe factor of him always just being Spider-Man killed my dad. Just get over it. It's not like Spider-Man intentionally killed your father. I don't just because you saw him put the body down doesn't mean he killed your dad.
Why would a murderer bring the body of a dead man back to his house?
Yeah.
Especially a man who is seen as the savior of the city of New York. But I don't know. That's all semantic stuff, I guess. But like, but yeah. Aunt May and Uncle Ben, Rosemary Harris and Cliff Robertson, they are the characters, like 100%.
Oh, most definitely.
Like, it just sucks because like every other version after them is like has to be more and more different to like be distinctive.
I don't understand why. Like they're supposed to be those figures. No one, like no fan is gonna be like, oh, they're not different enough. Like no, like Aunt May and Uncle Ben are supposed to be these like iconic stoic figures that are always there for Peter. Like you don't need to change that mold. Like yeah, the whole like, oh, hi Aunt May thing is funny, but like you don't need to do that. Like I guess for longevity's sake, because of actors getting older, you kind of need to do that. But like I don't like Sally Field, like bless amazing Spider-Man movies. Like that's like the one thing I will give them. Them getting Sally Field, who like is somewhat older, but not like deathly older. Like Rosemary Harris was like already had one foot in the coffin, which was so depressing. Like she looked like
I think Rosemary Harris is still alive actually,
really?
But like like there hasn't been like a report that she passed away. I'm gonna look at this right now.
Oh, she's 91. Holy crap!
Yeah,
I thought like it just like she looked very elderly to be playing Aunt May on top. Like granted, like the older versions of Aunt May had her looking very like decrepit and old, but then like as time goes on, more artists like make her look somewhat younger. And like now we're at this point where Ultimate Spider-Man type Aunt May is just kind of there, and it's like okay, that works. But like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, like they are the characters 100%, and like Rosemary Harris, like her like throughout the trilogy, her monologues are just like brilliant. Like every scene with her is just amazing, especially in Spider-Man 2. She wasn't in Spider-Man 3 enough. She was only in like 3 scenes in Spider-Man 3, which was depressing because like she's so good, but she was only in like 3 or 4 scenes. But Cliff Robertson as Uncle Ben was like.
And they kept bringing him back for more scenes for different movies. Like he
was
a trooper.
Yeah, and you know, of course, he unfortunately passed away back in 2012. But yeah, like Martin Sheen, like was a good successor, but like it just felt kind of.
It felt too Martin Sheen.
Yeah, and now like. Who are the MCU going to get to play Uncle Ben?
I don't know if like Uncle Ben exists. Like we kind of know because like
they said he
hinted at it.
Like the writers have said that he does. Like Kevin Feige, John Watts, the writers for Homecoming said he did. But like there needs to be like legitimate confirmation. I get
need a
like
picture in the house. Like give me something, damn it. And now we got like Happy trying to slide in Meg's DMs. I'm like, no, fam, no, hold on. I need confirmation before you try to slide in these DMs.
Yeah. But like there's a difference between like just like not focusing a shit ton on it and blatantly ignoring it or like going out of your way to not say it, which is it's an interesting conflict with Homecoming, but like but anyway, Cliff Robertson, like the scene he's in, like where he's dying, like that, like it half makes me cry and half makes me laugh because like when he's like it's so sad, like but he's just like Bader and then he just says, Peter. And then it doesn't help with Toby's like funny crying face, but it's funny to make fun of, but like that is a beautiful scene.
Yes, it is. Like
and then like
breaks over, but it's like your face. I need you to fix your face, sir.
Yeah,
but we haven't talked about Bruce Campbell's cameos yet.
Oh, we'll get to that in a sec, but I love that scene, especially how it fades into like the build up to him going after the killer.
Yeah.
Like I use epic as like a funny meme word a lot because it's easy to, but like that scene is epic. It is like,
especially
just like
he's,
it
gunning after the killer, and he's like, he's just so serious in there, and then dude just falls through the window, and it's like, oh, you're dead. Okay, cool, bye.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like that because like in canon, like the killer never gets killed, right? Like the killer just gets sent to prison.
I don't remember honestly. It's been so long.
Like no, in the canon, like God, I don't remember, but I think the killer was alive, and then he broke out of prison one day, and the reason he killed Uncle Ben was because there was like stolen loot from like the bootlegger days underneath the Parker family house.
Oh dear.
Which that wasn't necessary, but it happened, I believe. It happened. Oh, and then in Spider-Man 3, we just get Sandman being the one who killed
Yeah, that
Ben.
was so dumb.
But then we find out it was nobody's fault that Uncle Ben died. It was
he just accidentally pulled the trigger. Like,
because like I get what they were going for. Like, okay, I'll get into this when we get to Spider-Man 3, but I get what they were going for, but it didn't work out super well. But that Cliff Robertson, Rosemary Harris, great. J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. Perfection. Like, now that he's not in the DCU anymore, Marvel can get him back. Marvel.
I don't know. I'm kind of fond of the memes of Ice Cube being
no, like if they can't. If they can't get J.K. Simmons, I'd be down for like Ice Cube or like someone like new and very different from J.K. Simmons to play J. Jonah Jameson. Because like
it would be very funny to have Ice Cube as J. Jonah.
Yeah, it would be funny, but it would work. Like if they went for that, people would get all up in arms about it. But it's like, what? Who the fuck cares in the end of the day?
See,
but
yeah, like I will talk about it when we get to Homecoming. But like. I'm at the point where I just don't care about race changes anymore. Like, I've had my issues with it in the past, but it's like, if you're going to do it, just do it. Don't beat around the bush. But we'll talk about that when we get to Homecoming.
Yeah. And I very much agree in that, which is why I'm thinking that they're trying to...
retcon it.
They're trying to in Far From Home, because they're like, oh shit, like...
We had an opportunity and we messed it up.
Now we have to make it right. But yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. But... JK, like he actually did like an animated short of like what J. Jonah Jameson was doing during like Infinity War.
Oh dear.
And it was like he's still so good as J. Jonah Jameson, and he's
perfection in that role, and it's amazing.
Yeah, like, and you can tell in the Amazing films, it's like they were just like so hesitant to get anybody other than J. Jonah Jameson, but they still wanted him in the movie to some degree. But it's like just get J.K. Simmons, do it. But yeah, J.K. Simmons, like every scene he's in is just comedic gold. Like, but there is one scene that shows like depth to his character that I love, which is like when Green Goblin starts interrogating him, asking for who takes the photos of Spider-Man, and he doesn't reveal who Peter is.
Yeah, he doesn't budge.
Yeah, like that's like an overlooked moment that shows like depth to J. Jonah Jameson's character.
Very much so.
Which, like, if he is brought into the MCU one day, I hope they do bring in depth, because like the comics have given him so much depth over the years.
Oh, most definitely. Even recently with like him revealing like Peter revealing himself to Jameson, like it adds so much.
Yeah, and like
character.
Yeah, and him like now becoming pro Spider-Man and trying, like, he's like his character like isn't completely gone now. Like, he's still an angry, raving, stubborn old man, but like he's now just on the side of Peter.
Yes.
But it's like great character development, and I love seeing it. It'll get retconned one day, unfortunately, but with another reboot that'll just erase like however many years of character development.
In comics, we have to keep rebooting and resetting.
Yeah, we can't ever have characters die and stay dead.
Nope.
Wasn't like, I know I probably said this before, but like the rule used to be the only people who stay dead in comics are Uncle Ben,
Bucky,
Bucky and Jason Todd.
Yep.
And then two of them came back.
And then Ben came back like a while back too, and it's like, oh god, like.
But he's still, I mean, he's still dead. But like, yeah, like there have been times where just like, here's Ben again. Oh, now he's, because like, yeah, but yeah, I don't like. I'd love for J.K. Simmons to return one day if they give him more character depth. But like, he was just incredible. So yeah, let's talk about Bruce Campbell now. Bruce, like, if somehow you don't know why this man has like a cameo in each of the Raimi Spider-Man movies, Evil Dead.
Yes.
Go watch the first 3 Evil Dead movies, then get back, because that's why. Yeah. He is just like, as the ring announcer, he is just, I love him. Like
what's your name, kid? What was it? Like,
what's your name, kid? The Human Spider.
That's dumb.
Human Spider. That's it. That's the best you got. Yeah. Oh, that sucks. And then he just calls him the Amazing Spider-Man, and he's like, no, he got my name wrong. Oh God, like Randy Savage says, I never knew for so long that was. Oh, is ready. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Oh, and like that entire thing is like, that is the one time that I have ever been okay with like a big continuity change like that, because the fact that that's supposed to be happy. That's supposed to be happy when he was a wrestler. So like, that's the one time that I kind of let that one go, because
don't hate me because I never knew that.
Oh yeah, because like he used to be Crusher Hogan. That was his whole thing. Because there was time when he was Tony's driver, and then there was times where he was a wrestler, and then he had all these other careers. He was married to Pepper for a while. Like that, like Happy was everywhere. Like he did it all.
I'm surprised I never made that connection. God, I'm like terrible. Like, look at me being like the main guy with Spider-Man on this site and with this podcast, and I didn't know that.
It's okay.
Good. I need to brush up on my expertise, but yeah, I'm surprised I never made that connection. I would say they should do that in MCU, but like that would have been too early, or like too late. I mean, but anyway, Bonesaw is just brilliant. Like, it's weird knowing that in this world, pro wrestling is real. Like with all the people getting their like backs broken, and the one dude is like,
wrong. I apologize. I thought that it was, but it was a different guy. So that you were correct.
Damn,
it's just a random dude. It's just a random dude named Crusher Hogan. I was horribly wrong. I can be the one to take a bullet for that, because I legit thought all these years it was Happy because they were both bald for a while. I'll take my bullet on that one.
Wow, you just had me believing, like doubting my own expertise.
Look at you! Like you should have known that. You should have said no. I'm wrong.
Well, we're both wrong.
Yes, we both can be wrong on that one, because I honestly thought that like that was the thing, but no, we can move on from there. Yeah, but yeah, Bonesaw was freaking amazing.
Yeah, like, fuck. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, it's like so weird that in this world, pro wrestling is real. Yeah. It's just so weird to think about that, like. Especially with the chair shots Toby was taking.
It wasn't even like a pro wrestling. It was like a really weird, like, underground metal cage type wrestling. Like, that was the fun part about it.
I always love the guy who stands up and he's like, cage!
Bring in the cage! Wait, no, cage. I never agreed to a cage. Nah, man. 3 minutes.
And then, like, people have the signs that say, kill him. Kill him.
Oh, my God.
Oh God, like, I mean, with how wrestling was at the time, that's not too far off from how things were. But yeah, like,
from there,
what else?
From there, honestly, like, it always cracks me up. Like, I know that screen accuracy be damned, especially back then, how amazing that suit was. But like,
oh yeah,
how in God's name did Peter Parker make that suit? That's what I want to know.
That's like so like, because it like if it was just spandex with like drawn on spider and webs and maybe 3D lenses, that would be like, you know what, like it does look a bit professional, but I can buy that you made that.
But
like,
you know he didn't make this. There's no way. No.
Like with Andrew's, at least his first suit, I can like tell that like, okay,
I didn't like the colors, but you could tell Andrew made that shit.
Yeah, I didn't like the yellow lenses, but like I can tell he made that. But like with the second one, they just give him like a very hot suit, and it's like, oh well, that's gone now. They don't even show how he got that suit. They're just like, oh, you know, it happened.
Now, like, okay,
yeah, but like that, I love that suit, but it's just like I've never been too fond of the raised webbing, to be honest. I've never been super fond of it.
I
Like,
just like I know some people like it. I think the reason why I'm okay with it is it allows the idea that like before the raised webbing was like put on the suit, it was just a body sock, and then he like took the time to like stitch or staple the webbing onto it, almost like metal plating or piping. That's why I
yeah,
kind of like it, but like otherwise I don't like it. It's the,
yeah. To me, it just like it looks like he's just wrapped in.
yeah. It looks like he's
It
just
looks
wrapped
so
in
uncomfortable.
metal.
It's like, how does he climb the walls when there's like a bunch of like metal piping around his fingers?
Well, I never understood how like the talons or fangs ever really reach through the costume, but like I'm just
I
like,
think
comics, whatever, I don't care.
I think the original thing was like it was supposed to be like he can shift his center of gravity, but that's kind of world breaking because like that doesn't make. Apparently, that's how actual spiders do it, but like that would be kind of too like world breaking. It's like how does a human shift their center of gravity and just defy the laws of physics? So yeah, I don't know.
Comic logic.
So yeah, comic logic. So it makes sense that he has little sticky fingers, but
But then
yeah,
there's the
that's
organic webbing.
yeah. Like I don't like I like imagine if like that choice was made nowadays, people would hate it.
Oh, everyone would hate it. And like there was even a time where they like put it in the comics and everyone's like, ew, no, go away. Like web shooters, bring them back. It just like and then like especially in the moments in the movie where it would just randomly secrete from his hand and like he would like there'd be webbing just sticking to him. It was like this is kind of gross. And then there'd be the diagrams of like the web sacks in his forearms. It's like, how are
Yeah,
you not dying from this? Like, how, like
yeah,
especially the idea that the bite happened and then like the next day or something like that, all this happened to him. You mean to tell me that within a night web sacks grew in your forearms and you're not in pain from the muscle tearage? Like, no, sir, denied.
yeah, yeah. Like they did have web shooters, I think, like in the first. They initially did, but I think they just like got rid of them because like in the early promo art, it does show web shooters on the costumes. Like it shows little pipes on the wrists.
Oh, I don't know.
Like hold on, I'll send a photo to you that I
That's amazing.
found. Um, okay, early Spider-Man 2002 promo.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why I had it confused. There was a point where um Happy did what he was a wrestler, but like he never like that's why I got it confused. But
Uh,
they were different people still though. Okay, that makes sense. I'm good. Everything makes sense now.
yeah. Okay, here I found it. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Cool.
But yeah, like you can see the metal piping on the wrist, and it's really interesting. Like they had it that far into production, and also here, like there's no webbing around his fingers. This is like the first image that was shown, apparently.
Oh,
There.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, you see, like on his wrist, you can see the pipe right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that makes more sense to me because like his fingers don't have anything in the way of him. But yeah, but like there was like that footage from like a very early teaser trailer from like E3 or something where it shows him with a web shooter, but I think it was going to be like he did have organic webbing, but the web shooters were going to help control it.
That
So it
kind
was
of
going to
makes sense.
like it's like how this film took some ideas from the original James Cameron script, like how like the organic webbing, and took the idea of like fake web shooters, but kind of changed it, but then scrapped them. And then like there was a part where like the villain in, remember Carlton Strand,
Oh God,
Electro.
let's not go back to that. Oh my
Let's
God.
not go back to that. But he did talk about like lifting a few exceptional people onto our shoulders, which is what Green Goblin was talking about on the rooftop.
Yes.
So they did take like several things from that. But yeah, it's interesting how, because I never knew like these things like it took that much from that script. But anyway, yeah, like I love the suit. The organic webbing, like it worked fine because like I think it would have been like
They cut out.
it never showed that smart enough to create an entirely new adhesive. So
yeah, that makes sense. Like, I just it weirds me out because there's like the scenes in like Spider-Man 2 where he has like these bad guys webbed up and there's like a sign that says thanks Spider-Man and shit like that. Like, it just, when you see stuff like that, it defies the logic of, oh, these web sacks just keep generating web for him. Like, I don't buy that.
yeah,
And plus, like, the idea that the webbing is coming from his body and it's wrapping people up, I'm like, that's kind of gross. Like,
yeah, that's bodily fluid. And I mean, it was the nuance of it was gross in like the James Cameron one, because like the implications of that were kicked up a notch in that. But yeah, especially that one picture that I posted on the Twitter account of him webbing himself in the face. But anyway, yeah, like the other suit designs of this were pretty interesting. Like, there was one where it was like, it was still red and blue, but like the webbing was all over the body.
Well, that's
and yeah, and like the spider was like this really kind of gross, realistic looking one.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. The Alex Ross design, which is probably more well known, that was, I think it was like the inspiration for the Superior Spider-Man suit. Because there's a lot of like they're both red and black, and they both have like a V thing with the red like being a V, and the rest of the body being black. But yeah, like there was that they were using for a while. But no, this is the end result. I think this was like the best case scenario, because the other ones seemed like they were straying a bit too far from what the original suit was. But at least all those suits were competent, unlike the concept art for what the Amazing Spider-Man suits were going to look like.
Yeah. Because
we'll get to that, but those, like, I can't tell you how horrible those were, but yeah. Yeah. What else do I want to talk about before we wrap up?
Plus, the web shooters running out was a serious point of drama and intensity. Yeah, that is definitely a very good point, because there's the issues in the comics where like he'll run out of cartridges and like he'll be caught in the middle of a fight, and that's a very intriguing idea that he has to be more with the fisticuffs and like with his wits to figure out a plan. Versus with this, it's like, oh, he just grows more web fluid inside of him.
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah,
no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's pretty. That just kind of, like I said, and I think like even after like the Amazing movies brought in the web shooters, the only movie to like actually use them like and show them properly was Homecoming, because it showed him like replenishing the cartridges and it had him run out of web fluid at the end.
Yeah.
So like that was like the only time they like actually used the story elements of the web shooters. But anyway, yeah.
A great way to wrap up is like with the ending, because like we talked about the whole thing with the like the New Yorkers, but just the almost iconic way that scene goes into the next one, where it's like they're fighting in that graveyard, where it's like really dramatic. And the first time the mask was torn, but it wasn't a stupid gimmick. Like the idea of them going at it, and then there's just that dumb freaking glider. Yeah. Peter's like, "Oh, you're actually gonna come come and be a normal human? Like, we're gonna be good now?" And it's like just like shoot the glider at him, and it's like, why?
Yeah, and like I love that moment where Norman's like, "I've been a father to you. Be a son to me now." And Peter's like, "I have a father. His name was Ben Parker." And then Green Goblin's just, "Godspeed, Spider-Man." And then yeah, the glider, which like I never knew for the longest time that was like almost taken verbatim from like Amazing Spider-Man 122 with Goblin getting pinned to the wall by the glider. But instead of his chest, they did his nuts instead, which I'll never get that. I will never understand the choice behind.
I think it was a positioning thing, especially because like the idea of having him say the "Don't tell Harry" line from a camera angle, it would have been weird to like have his head just like somewhat droop onto the glider. Versus with this, like, yeah, you like chop him at like the mid frame. He has enough like area to drop onto the glider and just drop dead. I think that's the one thing that could be said about in that entire thing.
Yeah, it just like that's a bad way to go. That's a pretty
bad way to go.
I'm just like, ugh. Like I cringe every time.
You have like the butler who's like, "I cleaned your father's wounds." Oh, did you, butler?
I didn't even think of that. Ugh.
Like,
I don't want to.
You really cleaned those wounds, did you?
Oh God, ew! I don't want to think. I don't want to think of what the autopsy.
Camera. This is my revenge.
You know what? Fair. You know, I had to read to you the scene of Spider-Man fucking Mary Jane on the Brooklyn Bridge in costume. So this is your revenge against me.
Very much so.
But that I can only imagine what that autopsy was like. Norman Osborn has been declared dead as of 12:01 a.m.
I think the cause of death. Said it was like the idea was probably just he was like murdered with a blade or something easy.
Yeah.
Like, and then Harry's left his entire fortune in the company. That makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I don't know, but yeah, like before we do like go further with the end, I want to say the score for this movie is incredible.
Yes.
It like that is like one of the most iconic movie scores of all time, and like I love like I know people say like they love everything about Spider-Man 2 more. Fuck it, the score in this movie was like so much in my opinion.
Yes.
Only because Danny Elfman was having serious issues with Sam Raimi during Spider-Man 2. But we'll talk about that when we get to that movie. But anyway,
and honestly, like I know people love like the very orchestral version of the Spider-Man theme song in Homecoming, and like that probably would have been the only thing that could have made the Raimi movies better, was that kind of like orchestral like backing to it with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people have like been shitting on Homecoming's score, and I'm like, it's different, and but yeah, so like I love the ending to this movie because
it's very dramatic.
Yeah, like it does kind of like, you know, put us down a path of stupid romantic drama shit in Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the idea of Peter just having like he has what he wants right in front of him. He's wanted to be with this girl so bad ever since he was a kid, and he just is like, I can't, like, because it's too dangerous, and he doesn't want to lose anybody anymore, because like he lost Ben, he lost Norman, he might have lost Harry as a friend, or is losing him to something like worse, and now Mary Jane like would be risking herself being with Peter, and he's just like, no, I can't do it. And like that scene is like, but I love the moment where she like after she kisses him, she like recognizes the kiss. Glad that was never brought up again in Spider-Man 2. I mean, it technically was, because she's like, I think I always knew all this time. It's like, oh, you knew, and you were just
did you?
You knew, right. you knew, and you were fucking with this guy the whole time.
It's like, of course you did. Good.
Perfect. Good for you. But that ending monologue, it's perfectly written. The final swing sequence with the orchestra, and like, God, that CGI still looks good to this day. By the way, it looks real, like surprisingly looks real. With how like, and you know, like CGI has improved in some ways, but with how much more seamless it's become, you can also see like how much more it's, you know, synthetic. But like with this movie, there are just some scenes where like there are some scenes where you can tell like it's fake, but with some of the swinging scenes, you can tell like they spent a shit ton of time on this, because like this is like groundbreaking back in the day. Like how Sandman CGI was groundbreaking for Spider-Man 3, but yeah, like that whole ending, I absolutely love it. Like it was the perfect ending to like a Spider-Man movie like, imaginable. After years of that, felt like, I can only imagine like how longtime Spider-Man fans felt seeing that movie in the theater. Because like I can only imagine how like gratifying that must have felt. Like, because there would have been that fear of like, shit, they're gonna, because, you know, I know people liked X-Men at the time, but like they did remove, you know, the color, the campiness of the comics, and they tried to make it like very dark and serious and whatnot, Which, I mean, X-Men can be definitely can be at times, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to go from that to Spider-Man being campy, but also very heartfelt and serious at times, and having the costume be red and blue, like, that was a statement. At least to me, it felt like a statement from Sam Raimi and the people behind the movie and whatnot.
Especially after things like Daredevil and Blade that were so dead serious. You had this iconic franchise that was just like having that middle ground of campy but also serious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, that was like had to have been like the perfect superhero movie at the time. But like, yeah. So I think that brings our discussion to a close. So, James, do you have any final thoughts on the movie?
Honestly, like, this movie, like, I know people like it's the fun hip thing, the crap on the Raimi movies, but like, Spider-Man 1 was this iconic thing that stands the test of time in our culture. Like, yeah, Maguire has his issues, and yeah, Dunst is annoying at times, but like, this movie is like one of those things that paved the way for superhero movies to be in current canon and current like pop culture. We wouldn't have the ability to go see Endgame, this amazing chapter ending film, in 20 days if it weren't for Raimi. So like,
Absolutely.
I do have a ton of respect for him and the actors for making this movie like possible. Like, I remember watching, like, there was this review of the X-Men movies recently where it was like, they're cringy at times. Like, yeah, they have their problems, but like, it still paved the way for what this like for what comic book movies can be today. And that's
absolutely.
I'm pretty much at with that.
Yeah, like it. Like, a lot of people give credit to, a lot of people give credit to, like, Superman and Batman, which, like, definitely, absolutely. But those franchises were unfortunately run into the ground by the studios, and then the studios were like, what happened? Why do you guys not like our product? Oh, I guess, like, everyone hates comic book movies. We'll stop making comic.
That's not how that works.
To begin with. Then like X-Men comes out and like it gets enough people interested in it again. And then Spider-Man is like the big one that's like, holy shit, comic book movies are amazing and they can be amazing again. And like, I think like there was this guy I was watching on YouTube who was saying something about like anime adaptations. He said like we are in the Blade/X-Men period of live action anime films.
Oh god.
But like we are on the cusp of that, especially after Alita. Like,
yeah, that's fair, I guess.
Like Alita has issues, definitely, and like but it does sadden me that it's been used by who as a prop up against Captain Marvel, which like it's bullshit. Yeah, it is, and none of them went to see it anyway, which sucks. Because James Cameron spent 20 years trying to make that movie, and
then he threw it to other people because he didn't have time for it anymore.
Yeah, but like even so, like he had so many notes on it and cared about it so much, only for people to just use it in a culture war, and it's dumb.
Yeah, let's not worry about that.
Yeah, let's not. But anyway, I digress. Like that is a valid point. Like this is that period, and then it just needs that Spider-Man to get people like, holy shit, it's true to the source material.
I think
it's
One Piece
like
might be the way
good.
to do it, honestly. Like One Piece is coming out soon. It might be like without iconic One Pieces, it might be the one to finally go, okay, it's not that bad, but it also does really cool crap. Like I think that might be the one that does it, to be honest.
It could be that or Cowboy Bebop. I'm thinking maybe either that or Cowboy Bebop. And we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, like this 2002 onwards for good comic book movies, we owe to Spider-Man.
Yes.
And because like it did like set a pretty good formula for like origin stories and getting people to care about characters. And that I think that was Kevin Feige. Was that I think it was either X-Men or Spider-Man. One of them was the first movie Kevin Feige worked on as a producer.
Oh, I honestly don't know.
I think it might have been Spider-Man, but like, yeah, like without Spider-Man, we would not have like the MCU, Logan, other like really great comic movies we've gotten in the past 10 years. So this really was like a huge cultural phenomenon and only carried over with Spider-Man 2. I'd say it's at the top of my list of Spider-Man movies, which I know a lot of people are like, how could it not be Spider-Man 2? I'll talk about that in the next episode.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining, and we hope you guys enjoyed our discussions. We'll be posting this up on YouTube, I believe.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, whatever you want to do, comment. Feel free to tell us what your favorite Spider-Man movie is, what you felt about this movie, what you liked, what you didn't like. Anything else to say, James?
No, thanks for having me here. This was a great talk. I'm glad I could have
No problem. All right. So once again, you can follow me on Thorn. You can follow James on Twitter. He is at James C. Portis3. You can follow Livin on the Edge on Twitter, which is at LOTE_podcast. You can follow the On Comics Ground Twitter, which is at On Comics Ground. You can go to our website, which is On Comics Ground. There's a link on the Twitter page where you can read all of our reviews, articles, so on and so forth. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is On Comics Ground, and you can follow us here on Twitch. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is the start of our long Spider-Man film journey to Far From Home, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks with Spider-Man 2. Bye.
Peace out. There's a button.